back to a new episode of Post Productions. Today we're going to be talking about Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut, Blink Twice.
Blink Twice. Yes, we're going to do that.
New thriller out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, two girls get invited to an island owned by this tech billionaire, and something sinister is brewing.
Some weird shit starts happening, and there's a lot of scenes where they're chilling by the pool.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pool scenes
A lot
in
of
this.
pool scenes, yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of it?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't like this movie at all, to be honest with you. I thought this movie was pretty underwhelming, pretty predictable at certain points. And there's just there's a plethora of other stuff we'll get into, but not a huge fan. I don't know, like, I was very bored throughout this entire movie, but what did you think, Seamus? Because I think we share similar opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some parts of it I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, it just, I don't know, it seemed a little off.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to really deliver
No.
the way that I was hoping it would have.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be wrong, it definitely was disturbing. And I mean,
Yeah.
there's some very, like, kind of weighty themes and ideas that they explore in it, but...
And they're interesting, but it's also like, I don't know, I talked about this, and we're not going to get into spoilers here, we won't talk about it in depth of what happens exactly, but I think, in my opinion, just the way afterwards, because I talked to you about it a little bit, and I asked you, does it feel like they're glorifying the violence a little bit? Because this movie has a lot to do with some very, like, tough themes, very, I guess you could say, disturbing themes that a lot of people aren't going to want to hear about. It's just one of those things. And I almost felt like at a certain point they went kind of too far with a couple scenes. Just a little bit, like, I don't know. The way it was kind of filmed wasn't my favorite thing. It made me feel kind of icky, you know? I was just kind of like, I don't like that. And I don't think it was like, because, like, you know, I think for some movies you could say, oh, that was the intention. You know, and I understand it was probably the intention in this movie. But I think there's that fine line, I guess you could say, that comes between, like, being tasteful and then just being too much. And I don't know, I felt like it was just a tad too much for me. And there's very few movies that felt like that. Like, frickin', I watched Infinity Pool. Remember back in that one?
Oh, yeah.
I hated that movie just because of how, I guess to say, visceral it was. I did not like it. Because it felt like they weren't holding back. And I like it when they hold back to a certain extent. Like when they know what they're doing and they present the themes and stuff in a way that isn't like, I don't know, it's just glorifying it, you know? That's what I felt. I just felt icky throughout those portions, but I'm sorry, I went on a little rant. You continue.
No, that's fair. I mean, it's one of those things, like, I don't think this is too big of a spoiler,
No.
but the movie does involve sexual assault and sexual violence, and of course, that's a tough thing to portray in a film.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's different approaches you can take, showing it in as explicit as you can. I mean, it's disturbing. I won't lie.
I was disturbed, yeah.
Yeah, it made my stomach feel sick, but I don't know. I think that's part of the reason, too, why I can't say I, like, really enjoyed the movie so much. It's just because, I mean, I don't like watching shit like that. I feel like most people...
It felt off to watch. It was just like, I get it, it's a thriller, and I get what it's trying to do, but it's kind of just like, it's too much. You're doing a little too much here. Like, I get it, but hold on. Like, don't do that. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that shit.
In terms of positives, though,
let's go into that before we get into the negatives. You know, we'll start with the good things.
Yeah, let's start with some positive stuff. Because I thought there was some cool ideas in the script.
Yeah.
Like, the way it kind of all ties up in the end, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Like, you kind of can piece things together. There's little clues throughout. I thought that was pretty well done. Especially
by the third act as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think the third act, it does come together quite well. But we'll talk about it later. I think the problem is the first little bit. But third act, I will say, was the best part of the movie, definitely. Yeah. And I did enjoy that. And I also, like, I did enjoy, like, and this is one of those things, I enjoyed the cinematography to an extent. I thought some shots looked really, really cool. I liked the contrast of colors in certain scenarios, like, because they're in the middle of, like, they're not in the middle of a rainforest, but there's scenes where they're going to, like, a rainforest and stuff. And there's a shot in my mind I really liked where they were wearing pure yellow and, like, oranges and whites and stuff in the middle of this rainforest. I don't know, just little things like that I enjoyed, you know? Just, it looked pretty to a certain extent, you know? Yeah.
I thought some of, like, the kind of sound stuff, there was some cool, like, there's one sound effect that, like, played kind of repeatedly throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe what it sounded like. I just remember there was this one sound that kept popping up. I thought that was kind of cool, but then going off of the sound thing, I don't know. It sounded like the mixing was kind of off.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it sounded like the dialogue was too quiet, or there'd be like a kind of like a big like action kind of like intense moment, and then that would be like
there's no like
it wasn't
impact.
hitting hard enough. Exactly, it's like it wasn't hitting hard enough. So
I noticed that in the third act there was a couple scenes. I won't say exactly what happens, but let's just say there's some fighting going on, and when the impact of the blow, like when it hits the person, there's like no impact because like there's no sound effect, there's no like clever use of like a shot to like impact like to convey impact in any way. It just sort of happens, and it's just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was weird. Like they definitely could have filmed those better, especially when it's kind of like the the revenge kind of scene. You know?
Oh, well, yeah.
It's like, man, I want that to be fucking just boom.
Well, yeah.
Boom, you know,
it's especially the matter of like what happens, what is revealed. It's like, yeah, they deserve to whoop some ass, but they don't ever because they do, but like I don't know. It could have made it a lot more satisfying in a way, Yeah. But honestly, in terms of my opinion, that's like all the good things. Or wait, no. Channing Tatum was also good.
Channing Tatum was good.
I'm losing it today. This movie I wasn't a huge fan of. But Channing Tatum was good.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum was actually
pretty solid.
Pretty menacing. Like, when it really gets to a certain point in the movie when you understand like what's really going on, he was pretty scary. Like, I won't lie, very disturbing character.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's one scene at the end of the movie where he starts like he kind of loses it at a certain point, and you kind of see like that true crazy side to him that I thought was really good.
Yeah.
Like that scene was like good job. Like that was sick. Like good work.
It's just so funny seeing him do stuff like that, and then I'm just thinking like Jump Street, like it's like wow, what a contrast. Yeah, seriously.
And then you see him as fucking Gambit too. Oh, you know how long I've been waiting for this. And then you see him in this, you're like, what the hell happened, Channing?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Hopefully more Channing Tatum roles in the future.
Oh, there will be.
We need more Channing Tatum. Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, especially like I would love to see him as more villains too. He usually plays the good guy. I'd love to see him play villain roles.
And clearly, he's got a knack for it. So yeah, that might be something for them to explore.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Do it again. Why not?
Yeah.
But honestly, is there anything else in terms of the good you would like to talk about? Because I'm drawing blank.
Oh, it's cool that it's like her directorial debut.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the best directorial debut, but like you can tell she's talented.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if she refines her craft, she can make some really solid movies.
Yeah, this is a good like stepping off point.
Yeah.
Like this is a good, we have a good foundation, and this is a good first step, and then hopefully when we get into our next movie, it'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll be way better because she'll understand the craft just a little bit better and be able to refine it, like you said. I think I agree with that. And it is hard to make a movie. Everyone says like, oh, duh, it's obvious, but like it is difficult. I won't lie. So. Good on her for even making it in the first place. I know she was you're famous, you have a lot of money at your disposal, but like still, like it's
probably
still,
a hard transition from actor to director
and stressful as well.
Yeah,
because you're behind the camera. But like, no, I can appreciate that she actually made a movie. Like, good work on you.
Totally, man.
Yeah. Do you want to just go straight into the spoilers though? Or not spoilers. The negatives. The negatives.
Man.
Where do we start?
I don't know.
Can we just start the really weird editing for me?
Yeah, that was kind of off, eh?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on in this movie. The editing was kind of terrible, in my opinion. Like, there's like, the best way I can describe it, there's a scene that I saw a meme about. It's from Bohemian Rhapsody, which is the Queen movie, if people who don't know who are listening. And it's basically a scene where they're all sitting around a table, and the shot changes, like 5 for 5 milliseconds they're like on a person, then they go to the next person, then they go to a next person. It happens like 7 times in like the span of like 10 seconds. It's just all around a table. It's just like, what are we focusing on here? Like, what is going on? And there's a couple scenes in this movie I was like, okay, whoa, like let's focus on one person.
Pull the camera back for a sec.
Yeah, we do not need to be like right in this person's face. Like, oh, and then he says a couple things, and we quickly go to the and like, no. Like, it was a bit too much, and I found like I don't know if it was just the theater. You mentioned it earlier, but the sound being just way too quiet. I noticed that as well. I don't know if that's the movie's fault, though, or if that's the theater's fault, though.
That's possible.
You know?
That's totally possible.
It happens sometimes, so. It could have been that. But I agree. I thought that was really strange. And then also, like, personally, the music. I hated the music.
Did you?
I did hate the music. It felt like the most generic fucking thriller movie music I'd ever heard. Like, you just had to add violins, and you were in there for fucking cheap, dude.
You didn't like the Beyonce song drop?
That was it. That was the only, like, mildly amusing scene of music at all.
Damn.
Like, I didn't fuck with it. I thought it was honestly kind of bad, honestly.
No,
I just kept thinking, like, this is so generic. Like, oh my god. Especially, like, there's scenes where, like, I understand they're trying to build tension, but they have, like, that, like, like, you know, that noise that kind of, like, it builds when there's, like, something suspenseful happen and goes to nothing. They have, like, a scene with Channing Tatum. I'm like, why? This would have been so much better than... Place. Yeah, it just felt out of place. I'm like, why wouldn't you just have, like, a scene where it's just very suspenseful? Or there's scenes where, like, they change the camera angle. It goes, like, boom, boom. Did you notice that? I kept... Maybe I was picking this apart too much. But there are certain scenes where it was, like, toom, toom, when it kept changing, like, angles. I'm like, why is this? Like, this is just... I hate this. This is so bad. I'm sorry. Like, it kept bugging me. I'm sorry. You know?
Would you say most of your critiques are, like, technical?
Yeah,
kind of
technical stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
That really just affected my experience, to be honest with you.
What do you think of, like, the very ending of it? Because I didn't really like... No. I liked it up to a point, but then the final scene of it, I don't know.
Went too far.
Yeah, I didn't like that. It's like...
Because I get it. I'm also like, it kind of feels out of character.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a power dynamic switch, but it feels, it's like, I don't know, the whole movie's about, like, portraying how terrible that stuff is, like, having that control over people, you know, and kind of using them. And then at the very end, like, the script flips, and it's like, oh, wow.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I agree, though. It was very out of place, felt.
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to go a certain way, and then by the end of the movie, you're like, oh, okay. Sure. Like, that's... I don't like that ending at all, to be honest with you. I thought it was pretty weak.
Yeah.
Just out of character. Just didn't make a whole lot of sense, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe if it was a difference, if she was characterized in a different way, it'd be more...
Well,
like, okay, that makes sense. But she never seemed like that type. Right?
She was characterized as, like, the super nice one.
Yeah.
Like, and just was, like, happy to be there the whole time. Until shit went obviously wrong. But, you know, like, she was that very, I guess, like, quiet, reserved person. And then by the end... I know, like, characters are allowed to change, you know? They're allowed to go through arcs, but I didn't feel like the arc was deserved. You know, it came out of nowhere, in my opinion. Yeah.
Fair enough,
They never really highlighted that much in the movie. Yeah.
I feel like they could have shaved off some runtime, too. I'd say for another criticism, I feel like the second act goes on... Too long. Like, there's parts that it's like, okay, guys, like... I can see now what you're saying, like, when they're cutting so many times the different... It's like, okay, we could have... probably skip that.
Like, skipped
it's like it's to build suspense, but it wasn't effective.
Yeah,
so
no.
It's like...
And we didn't know what the suspense was really either yet. We didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't, at least. And I know that's kind of the point, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, like... you could have, like, gave us more hints at the beginning, you know? And not saying, like, we need directly, like, we need to be spelled out what the hell's happening. No. Just, like, subtle little moments where they're, like, foreshadowing things... or just, like, slightly implying things, making it mysterious, because I didn't feel like it was at all. To be honest, I felt like it was just a boring, just whatever movie, the first beginning. Then things start to happen, it gets better, I won't lie, by the third act, but that beginning, it did not click with me. I don't know what it was. Yeah.
No, I respect that.
Yeah.
So what would you give for you said 5?
Did I say 5?
Is that what you're are you thinking lower? Maybe...
This is, just to... clarify, this is what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But I'd still give it a 5, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's like, it's a movie. You can watch it. It's a good starting off point for a directorial debut, but not my cup of tea. It's just whatever, in my opinion. Well, what about you?
I'd give it a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, again, it's just...
It exists. You can watch it. You might like it more than us. We're a bunch of prudes.
Apparently.
So honestly, you may like it more. I personally, we weren't a fan, to be honest. I thought it could have been a lot better, in my opinion. Just with a lot of the technical stuff and the issues that bugged the absolute shite out of me were removed, it would have been a lot easier. And if I guess you could say, just honestly, little things. Like, honestly, just a bunch of little... It felt like death by a billion pinpricks. You know? I don't know. In my opinion.
Hey, little things add up, man. For sure.
It's true. But that's what I think, personally. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it for the episode.
Yeah, pretty short episode. This was a movie. But if you enjoyed watching, please leave a like and subscribe down below. And we're going to make another episode, and we'll be back at you soon.